The Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent talk.
Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday night and Wednesday night. Got to get my day straight. Welcome to the program. I'm Scotty Roberts. I'm the host of this here program, the Intrepid Radio Show. Although we're technically not a radio show anymore because we're not on radio. We're just podcasting. So welcome to the podcast, or the Intrepid broadcast, as we're starting to call it these days. So welcome to the program. And I hope you're having a good day. I got to tell you, I'll be very honest with you right now. I don't feel like being here tonight. I don't feel like being here. I don't really feel like being anywhere right now. I'm kind of pissy right now. I got my wife pissy at me because I'm pissy about something. And it changes my mood. I'm not a moody, well, maybe I am a moody person. I'm not given to depressions and given to things like that. But man, there are things that bother me sometimes. And when I'm bothered, I'll express that bothers me. And I don't like being ignored. I get ignored by my children. They don't think they have to listen to me. Is that a typical teenage thing or preteen thing? I don't remember being that way. I remember my rebellion when I was a kid was getting away with things behind my parents' back, my mom's back, not to her face. And so maybe there's not a big whole hell of a lot of difference, but I have problems with certain things. They send me. It puts me over the top. I said to my 9-year-old, by the way, who I have 54 years of experience on, I said to my 9-year-old, hey, sitting in the living room, and I went up to fold towels, doing laundry, because, and we go through 20 towels every 2 or 3 days. Why? Because all three of my girls will, well, my wife, not as much. So my two girls will go through 5 and 6 towels a day. And I'm like, hey, somebody has to launder those. Guess what? I'm going to make you in charge of laundering. And oh, by the way, I have ink all over me because I was tattooing tonight. Take a quick break. Not tattooing a person, but a skin. I put it up on my Facebook. This is how my stuff is coming along. This is a fake skin, and there is a tattoo on a fake skin. So I was working on that, and the blue is from the stencil. Now, I would wear rubber gloves if I'm stenciling or tattooing a human being. I probably should anyway, and it would keep my hands from getting full of ink. But there you go. I'm full of ink from that. So I tell my daughter, hey, what is this pile of stuff over here between the sofa and the wall, the side of the sofa and the wall? And there's a credenza along underneath the window, and the side of the sofa kind of comes up there. And there were 2 big white tubs full of beading, crafty beading stuff. 2 big things like that and about that high, and they stack up, but they're unstacked. They're kitty wampus. There's 2 of the little things from inside out. The stack, the kitty wampus stack is on top of towels and dirty clothes and shoes. There's shoes back. Well, 1 shoe. And there's candy wrappers and other stuff. And I say, who's in charge of this? Don't yell at me, is what my 9-year-old said. I'm not yelling at you. I said, but if you start taking attitude with me, I could. I said, I'm emphasizing. And there was nothing but eye rolling. And so I'm starting to talk to her. She pulls out her phone, starts texting on her phone. I said, hey, put your phone down. I'm talking to you. This stuff gets me more irritated than anything. Now, no kid is perfect. I get that. And I believe that we have taught our kids what respect is and what disrespect is, but they still do it. So, what do you do when they're acting that way? Especially when they're 9 years old or 12 years old, and you don't spank them anymore. They're even good psychology will tell you if you spank a child after age 5, that's not really the way to carry this out. Yeah, that's when they should lose their phone for a week. Well, hey, look at your TV screen or look at your screen. What's that look like? That's not my phone. So I said, hey, look, if I'll straighten that up. I said, I need you go get. I said, look at this. There's candy wrappers everywhere. And my kid eats more candy than she ought to for being a skinny runt. I said, that will eventually catch up with you. We don't ride them too much, but it's like, hey, you got to cut back on finding candy and eating it. And there's wrappers. They never walk it to the garbage can or lay it somewhere and pick it up when they get up. When they do, it ends up on the floor. And so we've got two sofas kind of in a V shape in the living room. And at the end of the one was all the junk I just talked about. Then in between the two, there's a little round table, like an end table in between, and it's got cups and things. It sometimes is so full of cups and cans and wrappers and plates and half-eaten stuff. When the mandate around here is when you are done eating with your dish, you go rinse it in the sink. You don't go throw it in the sink. You rinse it out down the disposal. We got a disposal. Hell, we've got a garbage can. And so there's wrappers and there's stuff all. Well, that's not my wrapper. I didn't leave that one there. And I said, well, will you pick it up? So she picked up her own wrapper and then sat back down. And I wanted to watch TV. And I said, could you please get the rest of the wrappers in there? And my point was, something I've tried to teach my children is be conscientious. This is your house too. Mom and dad are not, sorry to say this, folks, we're not the maids. We're not the maid and we're not the butler. We're there to help. We're there to make food. We're there to earn the money, to pay the bills, to do this. Kids have chores. Hey, and you know what? If you rip a wrapper off of something and toss it on the floor, number one, you're going to get in trouble just for doing that. Don't throw your wrapper on the goddamn floor. Throw it out. Or if you're sitting enjoying a TV show, put it on the table next to you. And when you get up, for any reason, take that with you to the garbage can. Somebody else shouldn't have to come by and pick up your stuff. So that's going on. And I say, why don't you go get the broom? I'm going to continue folding towels. I said, why don't you go get the broom and just sweep that out, please? Oh, you'd think I was asking her to cut off a limb and feed it to the dog, which is part of what our topic was about tonight. We'll get to it in a minute. The topic was going to be, we've talked about it before, but animal consciousness. And also, if I was going to ask the question, if you were living alone and you died, would your loyal dog or cat eat you? So there is a segue in there somewhere, but I'm going off on this now right now. This is why I don't want to be here. It's not because I don't love you guys and I don't want to do the radio show. It's that sometimes I got to blow steam and I don't feel like it. So, I'm not here under duress. I'm here because I said I'd be here and I want to do this, but I'm pissy and I'm telling you why I'm pissy tonight. I also sent her to the kitchen. Go get the broom. And by the way, we have an open layout. So I'm in the living room. All she's got to do is just saunter through the dining room into the kitchen and grab the broom. She goes out there, comes back not 3 seconds later. I can't find the broom. I said, well, if it's not out there, go find it. weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth. I said, just go find the broom. I said, there's either one downstairs or there's one out in the garage. Somebody, and another big thing in our house, if you use it, put it the hell away when you're done. Now, it's not initially said that way, but it's like, hey, when you're done with stuff, put it away. So why? So the next person can find it. When we have remotes or tuners, whatever you want to call them, for the TV up in the living room. The kids want to sit in front of the big ass TV in the living room. We've got 3 tuners for that TV. We can only find one. The other day, there were none available because we couldn't find them. We had to dig through all the sofas, tip them upside down, dig all around the house looking for the tuners, the remotes. And so we found one. There's one sitting up there. And that's another thing. The point was, if you use it, put it where the next person can find it. Don't leave it where every goddamn time I go up to turn on the news or the TV or something, I got to go on a search and destroy mission looking for a tuner so I can turn on the TV. I finally have a Roku thing in my phone apps, so I'll spend a few minutes looking for the tuners, which somebody else has misplaced, not put where the next person can find it. I'll just go on my phone, tune things in. So it's all about courtesy for the next person. Why do you pick up your candy bar wrappers? So the next person doesn't have to, or doesn't have to deal with your trash. Why do you rinse out your bowls or your plates or your glasses or your cups? So the person doing the dishes doesn't have to scrape your dish for you. You can't put it in the dishwasher when it's loaded a half a bowl full of macaroni and cheese or something that's left to dry overnight. Rainey said today she was in one of our daughter's rooms, and our daughter, one daughter, the older daughter, is notorious for throwing things out. She'll clean her room. You can't have your friend over until you clean your room. You've been asked to clean your room. Now you got to get your room done. Now you're under duress. You want your friend to come over? Get that room clean. Room gets clean, all right, but Rainey has to go through the garbage bags that she hauls out of there. Why? Because she'll do things like she'll take this great pair of shears that Rainey has for her work stuff that she paid, $30 for a really nice pair of scissors. Guess where it was? In the bottom of the trash bag that came out of the kids' room. Why? I don't know. But we'll find silverware in there. Well, steel, metalware, flatware. We'll find bowls and plates. It's because she didn't want to wash them. Or she pulled it out from her shelf or under her bed and it's got mold growing in it. She doesn't want to have to deal with it, so she throws it in her garbage bag. So, clear trash bags. There you go, Leslie. Clear trash bags. And so, all that goes on. And so I've got the child not wanting to go find the broom. And then she just sits back down, her elbows on her knees, and she's got a face like, she's not looking at me, though. And I'm like, and I'm folding towels. I go, are you not going to go find the broom? I can't find it. I looked for it. So you looked for it for less than 5 seconds. Seriously, folks, I'm not less than 5 seconds. Open format, kitchen to dining room to living room. So I said, well, guess what? I said, if you're going to take that attitude and keep that attitude up, tell you what, I need your phone. And she wraps the phone in her shirt and throws a blanket of no. I said, excuse me? What did you say? No, you can't have my phone. By now, I'm fuming. I shouldn't let this stuff make me fume, but it does. So I say, hand your phone over. And she just stares at me with her phone. Put out my hand. Phone. Finally, she takes it out and she's going to slap it into my hand. And she goes, gives it to me. I go, you're off the phone the rest of the night. I said, now go get the broom. And she's just resisting again. I said, okay, no more TV tonight either. Guess what? No phone, no TV. She doesn't have a computer yet, so no phone, no TV. Well, she continued to resist, and I said, okay, no phone, no TV, all day tomorrow, too. Not until Saturday morning. Well, tomorrow is Thursday. She goes to camp on Friday, and Rainey goes too, because Rainey's one of the scout leaders, so they're all going. So, yes, she does, Leslie. And so I took it away for 2 days. She's going to be gone for 2 days after that, 3 days. And I proceeded to tell her why. I've asked you guys this stuff all the time. I said, you're resisting me for what reason? I said, for what reason? Please give me a good reason. I will give you a fair hearing. You tell me why you don't think you should have to contribute. I said, but before you do, let me remind you, we bought your phone. We bought your TV. We bought the clothes you're wearing right now. We bought the food that you're eating. The candy you've got, you did some of that with your own money. But the internet you use, guess who pays for that? Us. I said, the electricity that you use, us. The TV you watch, the channels you watch, who pays for that? I said, us. I said, so how about this? When I ask you to take 5 minutes to sweep the candy wrappers off the floor, even if some of them aren't yours, just go ahead and do it. And she resisted me again. And that's where I said, okay, now it's tomorrow too. So, and I said, tell you what, I'm letting you off the hook. You don't have to do any of it. I said, I got it. You just go to your room. You're done. No TV, no phone. See ya. I got to go do radio. Well, then Rainey walked in, 5 minutes before, and I regaled her with what went on. And I said, so she is off TV and she's off the phone for the night. And Rainey said, well, if I want to watch something and she wants it, and can she watch TV if she watches it with me? My shows? And I'm like, Rainey, I said, you tell me, what would you want? What do you think is good and right? Well, I think it's okay if she watches this show with me because that's what we do before bedtime. Yes, that's totally up to you. And I said, you know what? I'm tired. And then this is blown over. Now I'm walking to the refrigerator. Now this is about 5 minutes before the show starts. I've got a thing in the fridge. It's a coffee cup from Holiday gas station stores. If any of you have those, wherever you are, your chain gas stations. And it was an ultra big size. And it was last night, I filled it up with vanilla creamer for coffee. Got a coffee and I got a vanilla creamer. They just charged me the same thing as a cup of coffee. And I brought that home because they didn't have creamer at the Holiday station where I went. They didn't have coffee creamer. So I said, I'm just going to do this. And I told them they just charged me for a cup of coffee. So I had a full thing, like a 24-ounce thing of coffee creamer, French vanilla coffee creamer. I set that in the fridge on the top shelf. Well, I go in the fridge to get something to drink on my way down here to do the show. And guess what? Somebody had tipped it over in the fridge, but didn't pick it up. And it's not like it's accidental and it's hidden back amongst all the tomatoes and mushrooms and things. It's right there on the front. It's this high, eye level for me, sitting right in the front. Somebody tipped it backwards, creamer all over everything. But it was kind of already dry, not dry, refrigerated. It wasn't fresh, but it was on every shelf and everything on every one of those shelves, and I busted a fucking gasket. I said, God damn it. I said, Rainey, this is what I'm talking about. These kids get told this stuff every day. If you knock it over, pick it up. If you drop it, pick it up. You know what? Up in our kitchen right now, there's a heel of a loaf of bread sitting on the kitchen floor that's been there for 2 days now. You know why? I told Rainey, do not pick that up. I said, I want to see how many days it takes for the person, and I know who did it because of the circumstances around it. I said, I'm going to leave that piece of bread there and see how long it takes them to pick it up and throw it in the garbage. It's still there. And so one of the constant things in our house is if you knock it over, pick it up. If you drop it, pick it up. If you knock it on the floor, bend over and pick it up. You know, yesterday I've got a stack of, and I do the towels in the house. I have a stack of dish towels, hand towels, dish towels, and I fold them all so they're all pretty much a uniform size, and I've got them stacked up, and they're in one of the corners on the countertop because they don't all fit in the drawers. So they're in the corner. I had like 30 towels stacked up there. In 2 days, there were none left. These are hand towels in the kitchen. But the kids aren't doing their chores either. So the dishes aren't done. So there's hell being wreaked over that. Why aren't you doing your chore? Get it done. Well, I was going to go to no, you can't go until your chore's done. I mean, what the hell? It's like everything is a fight to get anything done. So I was in the kitchen earlier today. It was either late yesterday or early today. Of those hand towels laying on the floor. The kids will constantly knock them off the oven handle where they hang or folded on the counter or use. There's 15 towels on the floor spread around the kitchen and garbage that hasn't made the trash can. And I'm like, do we live in a pigsty here? Because it's becoming one. Get with the program, everybody. Pick up your stuff. So that's the thing. And they're not like unsupervised delinquents. It's like we're here all day, every day. It's like, pick up your stuff. Why do I have to tell you to take your cup and rinse it out when you're done? And either put it in the dishwasher or set it alongside the sink. Why do I have to tell you after you've had a dish full of General Tso chicken, that Asian dish with rice and noodles? And why do I have to tell you to rinse your plate? Why is your plate sitting over there from last night full of food that somebody, and now when they were going to school, they all had chores, but sometimes Rainey and I just did it because we were tired of looking at it. It's like they got to do it, but I need dishes. I'd open up the cupboards. There's no bowls. There's no plates. There's no cups. All my coffee cups are gone. All the tumblers are gone. All the glasses are gone. And not half of them are over by the sink. Where do we find them? Stacked in their bedrooms. And it's not like we've never talked about this before. It's every damn day. Now, you could say, well, at least you got food. It's not third world. You're not worrying about food. First world problems, getting your kids to do their chores. So by the time I go over and I open up the fridge and the creamer is spilled all over inside the fridge. I didn't pay a lot for it, but I just bought it last night. And the whole goddamn thing is empty, dripping down every shelf in the refrigerator. And I got to be down here in 2 minutes by the time I see that. And I busted a nut. I said, Rainey, this is the stuff I'm talking about. This is bullshit. And I said to the kids that were hearing, Flynn's out of town with his school trip in Washington, D.C., by the way. So I told the kids that were there, and Rowan beat a hasty retreat out of the kitchen, went to her room. I said to Rainey, I'll bet you I know who did this, who dumped that over. But why? Why on earth would anybody with a half a brain cell that lives in a family with other people tip over a whole thing of cream so it runs all over the refrigerator and walk away from it and leave it for the next person to find? And if Ellery did it, she was with me when I bought it last night. She would have known. So I don't know who it is. And of course, you ask, what's the answer? Everybody know what the answer is? I didn't do it. Not me. Not me. I said, oh, okay, it's the ghost in the house. Dad, don't say that. You scare us. And I'm like, I don't care. I hope he gets you tonight. The ghost in the house. Pours creamer over you. Ghostly creamer. So I'm pissy. I'm working it out. By doing this for the last 28 minutes, I'm working it out. I've been 28 minutes on this. Hey, Ryan Gale. And by the way, hey to anybody else who is here. Ryan Gale, good to see you. Claudette, good to see you. Yeah, we do have our hands full. It just is. And it's like, what the hell? You just do it. You know, if I didn't do the dishes when I was their age, my mom worked as a waitress. And she would work from about 3, 4 in the afternoon till about midnight. Then she might hang out for a half hour or so with her friends there before closing time. And she would come home anytime between midnight and 1:30 or 2 o'clock. There was only once I got woken up at 2 in the morning, and that was I was supposed to do the dishes, and I didn't do them. Guess what my mom did? She woke me up at 2 a.m. You're going to get out there and get those dishes done because I asked for them to be done. You know what? I never forgot it again. But I do stuff like that with my kids over and over and over again. And you know what happens? They never, ever, ever quite finish the chore. They'll load the dishwasher, leave everything else. I'm like, there's pots and pans. Well, I'm not going to wash pots and pans. The dishwasher was full. So you don't need the dishwasher for pots and pans. As a matter of fact, I struck a rule. No pots and pans in the dishwasher. You know why I struck that rule? Because one kid, just about 2 weeks ago, put a pot, a pot about that big with a handle, put it upside down on the bottom, which is fine. But then they took the little bigger version that goes with the set and put it right on top of it. Both of them were full of food. Guess what happened to the one that was on top? It didn't get clean. Why? Because it's got another pot inside it. It's like, are my children lacking in IQ? Are they brain damaged? Are they, whatever it is? For me, it's a thing of just do. Just contribute. This is your family. This is your house. And they don't get asked to do a whole lot. The two older ones, the 12 and the 14-year-old, they have every other night doing dishes. My son, why do I have to do dishes? I didn't eat off of all those. He said, are you serious? I said, how come you get to eat food? I didn't get to eat that, but I paid for it. I said, son, do you know how lame a question that is? I said, if you really need to know, I'll answer that. But I said, seriously, son, you don't have to contribute. You don't have to have a chore of washing dishes because you don't eat off of all those dirty dishes. Weren't all yours. All for a nickel allowance for a candy bar after church on Sunday, says Leslie. Yep. A nickel. Yeah, I used to buy candy bars for a nickel too. Now they're $2. So, yes, you could. Thank you for saying that, Leslie. She said you can contribute to Flynn's DC trip by contributing to Two Loons Cash App. Thank you for mentioning that. He's already in DC. He went, what day is this? It's Wednesday. It was yesterday, Monday morning. We had to drop him off at the school at 4 a.m. And then they rode the bus to the airport. And he sent a few pictures. Rainey said to me yesterday, he's been gone for 24 hours in DC and he hasn't sent me an email yet or a message. I said, he's having fun. So, but he did finally send some pictures, and he's got a good eye for it. Great pictures of the Supreme Court building, great pictures of the Washington Monument, and I'm sure he's got a bunch more. And we did talk to him last night, too. So thanks for saying that, Leslie. He's already there. So I don't think there's any way to get him money. We probably could through the leaders at this point. So Rainey took and gave him some money already, and things are tight. I didn't know she did that, but she went out and put a post on, hey, if you want to contribute to Flynn's DC trip, please throw some in here at this app. We are on the abysmal low side of things this month. So, which is crazy. And then Rainey has got her job stuff going on. She hasn't worked for about 3 weeks. And with all the banter going back and forth there. And I'm competing with, I've been doing what I do for 40 years. Can you believe that? More than that. 1977. 1977. Do the math. I was 16 years old. I am now 63. What's 16 from 63? That would be 53. That would be 47 years ago. So 47 years ago, I had my first job with a small publisher, and I've told you about this before, small theological book publisher. And he saw my art hanging in the narthex of the church complex, which had the day school, the high school, the seminary was there, the radio station. It was a big, huge fortress church. And in our art class, they would hang our paintings out in the narthex of the church. And he saw my paintings and he inquired about me. And he hired me to draw pictures for paper dust jackets for their theological books that they'd reproduce. They would take old theological books that were over 75 years old. I think it's 76 years old is the when copyrights expire. Then he'd purchase the copyright the day of expiration. He'd purchase the copyright to these old theological texts, and he'd take the old books, he'd cut them apart, shoot negatives of them, and reprint them on a printing press in his own basement, send them to the book binder, and I would draw the pictures for and lay out the book covers. That was my very first job in publishing and in being an artist for a shop. And I was 16, going on 17. You are 16, going on 17. So blah, blah, blah. Anyway, all that to say, I don't know where I was going with that before I rabbit trailed on the book publishing thing, other than to say, I think I was a fairly responsible kid. And I've been doing what I do. Oh, I know. I was talking about, the price of tea in China. Right now, I charge X number of dollars for doing book illustrations. If I did a book illustration like this, which you've seen before, this is the ink drawing. If I did this ink drawing and scanned it into the computer, either painted it by hand with watercolor or scanned it in and did digital color on it, I charge $400 to $450 when I'm doing a book. And if there are 12 illustrations in the book, you can do the math. And sometimes I would cut authors a break. Hey, if you're going to do all 12, have me do the cover too, plus lay out your book, and here's the deal. I'll do a nice package design for you. Now I'm competing with every kid who's between the age of 15 and 25 in one of the Crapistan this, or Agnostistan, or whatever all those stands are all around the Black Sea area there. And they all want that American dollar. So what are they doing? What I would charge, and most artists in America would charge, anywhere from $250 to $450 for this picture. They say, oh, I can do that for $5. Every kid that has a computer and can use AI now thinks that they are illustrators. And so you're competing with that. And so my business, which is illustration and design, has gone from here and it's plummeted because nobody's buying. And so what do you do when you've been doing that for 40 years? That's why I brought that up. 46 years. I've been an illustrator and a designer in advertising and publishing. Guess what? Got to find different ways to work. That's why I'm working on tattooing. Oh, thank you, Leslie. I just noticed that. Thank you for that. $20 from Leslie on the super sticker. I appreciate that. And that means a lot. And anybody else, if you want to donate to this show or to Flynn. Flynn's already, I think, taken care of because there's not much else we can do. We could send him money if he needs it, I think, through the leaders that are with them. But if you want to donate to this show, help keep it afloat, make my wife not go, how long are you going to do radio without pay? That takes an awful lot of your time. If you're not going to get paid to do that, maybe you need to rethink whether you're doing it or not. I mean, trust me, Rainey is a wonderful, beautiful person, but at the same time, she gets stressed about finances too, and she's practical. Hey, I know you enjoy it. I know you don't go out drinking. You don't go out hunting. You don't go out with the boys. You don't go fishing. You don't do all this other stuff. You don't have softball that you play. You're not out doing anything. The only thing you do is doing that radio time. That's my social time as well. She says, but you're doing it 3 nights a week, roughly 2 hours a night. That's 6 hours plus whatever time it takes you to prep. Plus you're doing Saturday or Sunday morning. Plus you're doing Robertson, which we didn't do this week. And I didn't hear from Wendy, and I'm not sure what's up there. If there was a problem there, I tend to let her get a hold of me for Robertson of late because she's had a lot of issues with stuff going on. So all that to say, sometimes Rainey is not all pro radio show. She's not pro Intrepid. You wonder why you don't see her much on Sunday mornings anymore? She thinks I waste too much of my time at this. Now, I think that would all change over if money was better. And isn't that always a thing? How many of you also have your issues where, damn, I can't keep on top of the bills all the time. I just paid that. Now I got to pay that again. Everybody in America is in that state right now. I think my career for the time being with AI is going to suffer because even people who are close friends who've had me design all their stuff. Oh, look what I did. I did this logo I wanted you to do. I did it on AI. Okay. I'm obsolete. You become obsolete at a point. It's like having a robot take your job. If you're an artist like I am, AI is going to ace you out pretty soon, at least in the present, until the fad starts to wear off and everybody realizes all the illustrations look the same. So Skynet is self-aware, says Field Guy. Yeah, I throw the bills in the trash. Boom. Done. Taken care of. And we don't have a lot of bills, which is nice, but we do have bills. So all of that to say this. I tell my kids, we pay all the bills around here. So what is a parent supposed to do? I can't just go, I pay the bills, so I haven't got you under my thumb. I'm dangling this carrot out in front of you. It's like, no, I need you to keep up your end. Your end is if we ask you to wash the dishes on a regular basis, you wash the dishes. If we ask you to, hey, could you sweep the living room floor? It's all wood floors up there, so you got to sweep them. They get full of stuff. I'd ask him to vacuum if it was all carpet. And if I'm going to get feedback and bad attitude about it and stuff like that, you know what? But you know what? That same little girl who gave me that attitude tonight, 2 nights ago, you know what she did? She wanted to have, she had mom, they went to the grocery store, had mom buy her the frozen dinners, she buy her the chicken nuggets, but they were Asian chicken nuggets. I mentioned earlier the General Tso chicken or the orange chicken she likes. And they also bought lo mein to make in the microwave and fried rice to make in the microwave. And so what does Ellie do? She gets the oven all set up. She puts all the nuggets in the pan and she starts cooking the nuggets. Then she cooked up the fried rice and then she cooked up the lo mein. Then I hear her out there go, what's she doing out there? And she's in the dining room. She's setting the table. She sets the table all up. Make sure there's the tablecloth, sets all the dishes. She goes, we're all eating in the dining room tonight. We're all eating together and we do that sometimes. Most of the time, everybody just kind of grabs what they can because everybody's running in 10 different directions. Or we'll grab something. We'll all sit down. Hey, we're having hot dogs tonight. Everybody grab a hot dog. They're made. There's potato salad. There's chips. There's baked beans. Make up your plate. Come on out. We're going to watch a movie. We'll do that in the living room. So, and then sometimes Rainey will make a roast. You know, she goes all out and does that stuff too. So, and I just did a turkey the other day. We've got 3 turkeys in the freezer because she got them on sale last year. We had a big butterball, 16-pound butterball turkey that I made stuffing from scratch. By the way, I love to make stuffing. You know, I make the best stuffing in the world. It's the best. You'd love it. The best stuffing of all. And I take a Jimmy Dean sage sausage and I cook it up, fry it up, break it all up into crumbly little pieces. And I mix it with like a Pepperidge Farm. I have to get a certain kind now because Rainey's gluten-free. So we get a gluten-free stuffing mix. And I mix the sausage in with it. Then I mix, I'll chop up some green onions. I will chop up some water chestnuts. And then sometimes I will, not sometimes, almost all the time when I make this, I'll take apples and I dice up apples. I peel them and dice them and throw 2 apples in with that stuffing mix. I mix it all up, stuff that turkey, put it in the oven. Oh, mwah. And so we had that the other night. We do that kind of stuff. Mashed potatoes and all that. So Randall Flagg, I need your recipe. If it rocks, I need to see it. So Field Guy's mom made roast today. So, you know, we do that stuff. But here, Ellie, my 9-year-old, as belligerent, and she's as stubborn as her mom. Her mom is as stubborn as they come. And she's as stubborn as a stump. But Ellie's inherited that from her. But Ellie, the other day, as belligerent as she was today, she made dinner from scratch. Well, you know, half of it's microwave, half of it's done in the oven. She made dinner from scratch. She laid it all out. She put it all in the dishes and everything and put everybody's place setting down, the good china. And we had dinner and it was nice. So, and I told her over and over again, I thanked her again today. By the way, when I was yelling at her for not doing what I asked her to do, and I said, by the way, I want you to know again, I said, I'm a little miffed with you right now, but I want you to know the other night when you made dinner, that was spectacular. Thank you again for that. I said, I really appreciate that. Mom and Dad loved that. That was very cool. She's still mad at me. So that is the mood I came to this show with. because it all was going on. Then my wife yelled at me on top of it for yelling at the kids for spilling my cream. It's like, don't yell at me. I didn't do anything wrong. Well, you always go on about this. I said, because it never ends. It never stops. So either I need an attitude adjustment or my kids need good, swift kicks in the ass. I told Rainey, I said, maybe we need family counseling. Now, that might sound really abhorrent to some of you, but let's get somebody that can come in that's a third party that can look at this and everybody can talk about their stuff in the family. I thought I would be able to take care of that myself. I took care of it with my first 3 kids. Sam had some problems, but you know what? They weren't while he was under our roof. So, and he's a great kid today. And these kids will be great kids someday. I know it. So, this is part of life. They're different kids, I've noticed. Bringing up kids right now is different than even when I brought Abby and Bryn, my oldest. They're 32, 32 and a half. And they were like, I can't believe the way the kids are some days. And I said, it's very different from when you guys were kids, even, 15, 16, 17 years ago. Times are different. My kids didn't have the internet like they do today. We had internet, but not like this. And so my kids are very different. Our 3 younger kids are different than the older kids. So that's a whole topic unto itself. So, Sean, what could you eat cold? Counseling? Yeah, counseling could be a good idea, Sarah. I think it's a good idea because you know what it does? It allows there to be a moderator instead of a kid looking at me or Rainey and going, I'm not going to talk to you. It's like, excuse me? I've got your phone. So I hope that works for you. Maybe somebody slammed the fridge door and knocked it over. That's possible, Randall. I doubt it. I really do. So somebody knocked it over, digging for something. So we got a pretty stable refrigerator. So internet, you say? Yes. I remember arguing with my parents about getting a 55K modem, says Randall Flagg. Yeah, we have high-speed internet here. So bing, bang, boom. Speaking of high-speed internet, if you like my tarot readings, you can go over to my TikTok every day. It doesn't cost anything. Go over to my TikTok. I do a daily reading over there. Some days I miss. I just skip it because don't have time some mornings. But I think I've got at least 120 readings over there. You can go through them. They're all good. They're for the day, but if you want to see some of them, you can. My TikTok is just under my name, Scotty Roberts. Or is it Mr. Scotty Roberts? So let's find out real quick. Tick is all I have to type, and I hit enter. TikTok. Yeah, it's Mr. Scotty Roberts. Here you go. I'll just copy this, and I'll put this in the chat room. If you want to go over and see my TikTok, there you go. And I do a reading every day. Usually by noon it's up. Some mornings it's I don't do them real early if I'm up early because I don't want to wake anybody else up. But unlike my kids who will wake up, we'll be down here sleeping, and my kids go walking through the living room to the kitchen. It's like, what the hell? Are we on an elephant highway upstairs? Oh, tonight. I said, because Ellie was mad at me. She's stomping all over. I said, that's the kind of stomping I was talking to you about. I said, too, on top of it, as long as you're stomping, let me just tell you, that's what wakes mom and dad up when you're up early. It's the way I said, excuse me, how are you talking to me? I'm not going to change the way I walk. I said, watch, let me demonstrate something. I said, I walked across the room with normal heavy feet like I'm walking down the sidewalk. Fum, 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 fum. I said, now watch this as I come back. I wasn't tiptoeing. See, maybe she heard me because she's doing it right now. You must have heard me. You hear that? She's doing that on purpose. Hey, come down here. She did that on purpose. You probably heard that. That was worse than what she does. Anyway, now that it is 9:52, we haven't touched our topic. I'll save this topic for Friday night, and maybe we'll slip into the captain's cabin a little early. And I called my daughter down, so she might come in. Oh, it's the older one. Are you the one making noise up there?
No.
Was Ellie doing it? Did she hear me talking?
Yeah.
That's why she did it? Here's Rowan. How you doing?
Good.
Good. What's on your mind?
I'm texting a boy.
What about?
Nothing.
She's texting a boy.
We're hanging out next week
Where are you hanging out?
around town.
Yeah, you heard that, Leslie, didn't you? Oh no, did she unplug Dad midstream? Am I not broadcasting? Can you hear me? I think so. I see my mic is working. My mic testing 1 2. Yeah, the mic is still on. Oh, but my sound is down a little bit. Testing 1 2 3 4. I'm broadcasting. That's good. All right. So, yeah, there we go. So nice hair color, Ro.
I know, thanks.
It actually does look nice. I told her not to color her hair. What did she do? Colored her hair.
I look tanner in person. Why am I so white on your camera?
It's the lights. I'm tanner in person too.
I don't like your lights.
It's the lights so I don't look so overly fuzzy.
You can tell how tan my arms are. You can't tell how tan my face is.
You're just pale.
No, I'm tan in person.
She's tan. She just wants you to know she's tan in person.
Real.
So, what's cooking upstairs? I smell food.
We cooked fried mushrooms.
Oh, fried mushrooms.
I prefer my cinnamon applesauce.
Okay. Okay, you can scram now.
Why?
Why, you got something to say?
Are you doing anything important?
I'm doing my radio show.
That's not that important.
Well, excuse me. So, show you guys. Did I show you guys this? So I did this today. I think I showed it at the beginning. That's one of the tattoo samples. Well, it's not a sample. It's practice on the fake skins. I must have showed you because I remember seeing it in the camera. So I must have showed you already. So that's what I've been working on. Doing that, getting tattooing up to snuff. So
Me too.
Rowan's been doing some too. Why don't you go get your sheet? Wherever it is. Or is it here? Or is it over there?
This one?
The other day, yeah.
The other one. Or wait, which one?
Well, which one is yours?
Well, we did one together. I just don't know where that one is.
Just show me the ones you did. So she did just a bunch of little ones the other day. Because she wants to learn how to do this too.
No, that one was like 2 months ago.
It wasn't 2 months ago.
That one was.
Nah,
That was
it
like-
wasn't that long
That
ago.
was like when we first got the machine, but then I did.
No, we first got the machine like 2 years ago.
Oh.
So
Well, that was when we
this
started
was a
using-
couple of weeks ago. Trust me.
No, it wasn't because I did that.
My kids have no concept of time,
I don't
death,
think you did.
depth, spatial distance, cleanliness,
What
clutter.
What happened
No,
to that?
no sense.
Dad, what happened to that one we did together?
I don't know which one we did together.
No, it wasn't that one.
I think they're all laying here, all of them, all those skins. So
This one right here.
which one?
This one we did that one together.
What'd you do?
I I did like the bottom parts, like this parts.
Oh, okay. So this was a practice one about a week ago. She did the arc on the bottom, that thing right here. Oops, I'm going the wrong way. She did that. So I was practicing shading and filling. So there you go.
I think I'm better than you at this.
She thinks she's better than me at that. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Maybe you can earn some money then. And we'll take you out of school and you can earn money.
Wait, actually?
She'd like that too much, I think.
I don't want to go to school. School's boring.
Yeah, whatever. It's my illiterate child.
Your dad smile. Wait. Can I take a point? Look upward. No, upward with your eyes, not your head.
Oh.
See, that's what you look like.
Why
Why isn't it working? Your camera's weird. Okay. Yeah, see?
There you go. Yeah, that's me from overhead. She's my cherry pie. Whatever that is. Who is that girl with the funny colored hair? Says Elderberry.
That's not nice.
That must be you. That's so not nice.
My hair's not funny colored. Normal people have this color hair in life.
Normal people have that color hair in life, Elderberry. I just want you to know that. There you go. A little more light on you.
Whiter.
Just trying to illuminate so your hair doesn't blend into the background. Silly kid, says Susie Q. John Potter is here, Uncle John. I'm more the cloaked bird of prey type as tattoos go. You want a cloaked bird of prey? Would that be just a starry field on your arm or buttock? So, what else we got going on? So anyway, let's call the radio show quits for tonight, and we'll take a couple of minute break. We'll come back and just do the captain's cabin. I'm not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. It's really a continuation of the same thing. So, but we'll call it something different, and you guys can call in too. So here we go. We're gonna go out. Why don't you all stick around, and we'll be right back.
Join us every weeknight at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. The Intrepid Radio Program, a Scotty Roberts Productions broadcast.
Hey folks, this is Scotty Roberts, and this is the Intrepid Radio broadcast. I've been broadcasting for about 20 years now, covering such topics as science, politics, the paranormal, weird science, weird world history, archaeology, and the paranormal. Everything from ghosts to cryptids to creepy things that go bump in the night. So every week I bring you 3 new episodes. Come and join my channel and also be a patron to this site. So see the details below, and we'll see you here. Dave, I love you, brother.
I miss you too.
I miss you too, I heard.
Yep,
Did you guys hear that?
I heard that.
I miss you, Dave. Hey, folks, we're back. Welcome back. This is the Captain's Cabin, and we're glad you stuck around. If you want to call into the show, I see Field Guy's already sitting in the wings. He must have something to say tonight because he was waiting there already. But I'm going to paste this into the chat room. If you want to call into the show, there it is. We can talk. We can hang out. Take it from there. So we can't see ya. Hey, she got the way to move me. Oh, it says Randall Flagg. Arr, Susie Q, arr. That's right. All right, let's just bring in Field Guy. Let's not delay with this. Fieldy, how you doing? All I see is your fleur-de-lis.
Greetings. I'll turn my camera on if you want.
Oh, sure. Why not?
Where's my
There
camera?
it
No.
There's Field Guy.
Greetings.
So what's going on?
Just got off work a little while ago, so
All right.
I didn't know what the topic was. I walked in and you were saying something about something.
I didn't put up a topic tonight, but I had one.
It's all Rowan's fault.
It's all about, do animals have consciousness? Which we've talked about it before, but there was a little different take here. And then I was going to ask the blazing question because I ran across this in a psychological journal. So if you live alone and you die alone and you have a loyal cat or dog, will they eat you?
Yes.
And does that have to do with consciousness? Will they not eat you? Because we know dogs that are found sometimes by their masters and they starve to death too.
Yeah.
Alongside the dead one. Yes.
Oh, cats will eat you. Mm-hmm. That is a definite yes.
That's exactly what this psychological thing said. Animals will eat you raw. What'd you say to me?
Animals will eat you after all your skin rots off.
After all your skin rots off, your animals will eat you.
Yeah, they'll eat the meat. And
Cats eat anything.
Sarah says yes to both. Yes to both what? Yes, they will eat you, or yes, a dog will eat you, and yes, a cat will eat you, or yes, they have consciousness, and yes, they will eat you.
Why? I don't trust cats. I grew up with cats. I have the scars to prove it.
I don't either.
Them bastards will
Where'd
be.
Bob go?
They would be nipping at my fingers while I'm sleeping. I say, hey, I'm not dead yet.
You know what Bob does? Bob Saget.
Stop, look at him. He's gonna break your stuff.
The gray
Oh.
kitty.
Get him off of there.
Stop. I don't-
Here, he's back there. He's back in my stuff. He was back. He was like Alien from the first Alien movie, where Sigourney Weaver's getting all in her undies and all that, and she's going to go into cryogenic sleep at the end of the movie.
That's a
And
good
the
part.
alien's all wrapped inside the circuitry and the instruments and stuff. She sees him back in there. And so that's what the cat was doing. He was back there wrapped up in all my stuff. Breaking things. Cats like to break your stuff.
Cats are assholes.
So.
Pardon my language, but they are.
Randall Flagg says, my cat won't eat me. If it's not salmon, she won't eat it. Pretty much.
When you're dead about a
cats
week on
are
the floor,
great.
trust me, you're salmon.
They're
You are
great.
salmon.
We used to say kitties are great for skeet shooting. Sorry, you cat
Bull.
lovers.
Boom.
Sorry, lovers. Arr. How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing all right.
Right on.
That's a little disturbing, though.
What, skeet shooting?
Yeah.
Pull!
Using cats for skeet shooting. Jesus.
No, kittens.
Well, something's got to be shot at.
Not cats. Kittens. You gotta
Pull.
before they become cats.
There we go.
That makes it worse if it's kittens.
I saw a Bambi on the road, dead.
Yeah.
I drove, was it you or Ellie? Mom and Ellie over to a canoe trip yesterday. Little canoe, 10-mile thing. And not even 5-mile thing. And on the way back, the same road I took out there, country road, there was a dead Bambi. I mean, perfect, pristine looking Bambi with the brown with the white spots. And I'm like, oh, he must have just got nailed and not broken open, but he was hit, and there he lay dead on the road.
You said there was a country road,
Country road. Well,
and it was
You know,
it was on your way
housing,
home.
it's
Was it
along
was
the
it
river.
taking you
kind
home?
of. What's that?
Was it taking you home?
No, I went there to drop them off. Then I was coming back. That's when I saw it. So I did not hit it on the way there. So
it wasn't a country road, and it wasn't taking you home.
psh, whoosh, right over my head tonight.
I think he was thinking of a John Denver song.
Yeah.
Yes, he was, Fieldy.
Mm-hmm.
So almost
You
had
know, though, if you had hit the Bambi, you had hit the car or the deer, you could have.
I would have felt bad.
You could
I
have
felt
gathered
bad
it up,
already. I felt bad that there was a
put it
Bambi.
in the trunk, take it home, dress it.
I think somebody probably did that because it wasn't an hour later. You know, dead animals lay on the road all the time. I'm sorry. Maybe it's because he was closer to the middle of the road, but somebody had moved him and he wasn't on the side of the road. Somebody scraped him up already.
Yeah.
So somebody probably took him home and went, we're gonna
that's
stuff
good
this
eating.
little guy.
Venison, hey.
Yeah,
They said, "Oh, that's free roadkill."
that's more like veal, isn't it? When you get the Bambi meat.
Maybe.
Roadkill Cafe, you kill it, we grill it.
Yep. And he wasn't crushed, he wasn't splattered all over or anything like that. So
Yeah.
the meat was probably still good. So
Never know.
you never know. So
Probably
What was
better
this?
off doing that during the winter, though.
yeah. What's this? I saw some video and I didn't know how real or unreal it was. It did not look like AI. You can tell.
Oh, yeah.
But there was a deer that was tangled up in a barbed wire fence, kind of
Yeah.
like below what you would call his waist if he was human, his lower his hind end,
Right.
hanging in the front. And he got him untangled without the thing kicking him in the face. And he got it untangled. And it lay there on the other side of the fence for a while. And he reached through and pet it. And it didn't do anything. And his little kid was with him and reached through and pet it. And I thought, okay, you don't know if that thing's going to jump up and what it's going to do. But his little kid pet it. And then he said, then pretty soon the deer was showing up in his backyard. And it was like the next day. And there's a deer in his backyard. And it had little scarring from getting in the barbed wire, he could tell. And it's looking at him from about 30 feet from the back sliding door.
Yeah.
Looking at him. Then next, his video keeps going. Then there's a few more of them. There's a couple of them out on the deck. They're looking in the window. And he says, I think they're just stopping by to say thank you. And the next scene, he's in his garage, and there's like 15 deer walking up to his garage door entry and walking into the garage like something. What's that horror movie where she's in the car and she's suddenly in her car stalls in the woods and she's surrounded by deer all looking at her. It felt, I don't remember what movie that was.
Neither do I.
It did not, what?
Neither do I.
Yeah, it's something with one of those blonde women that you know in the movies, and I can't think of her name. Younger, like see, I can't even remember the name. So like a Haunted Hill House or something. I don't know. Something like that was the title. And so you'd recognize her if you saw her. But so I watched that video and I thought, that's really interesting. Do animals do that? Does an animal go back to its deer family and friends and go, hey, this human saved my life. We need to go. You got to come and see him. And now let's go in his garage and thank him.
Go eat their corn.
What?
Go eat their corn.
Go eat their corn.
They're looking for food, I'm sure.
I don't know, but so back in North Dakota, I would, especially during the winter, if I had like, the remnants of a bag of frozen vegetables or frozen fruit or things like that, and it was getting to the point where it's going to be kind of freezer burned, I would take it out and I'd do the same thing with, like, if I had, a couple of cups of oats left and it was kind of getting to the point going stale.
See ya, Uncle John.
Rice, I would go out in the backyard and I would dump it out in the snow for the rabbits because there were rabbits all over the neighborhood. Yeah. And then it got to the point where I could stand basically anywhere in my parking area behind the house and between the garage and have a cigarette, talk on the phone, whatever. And the rabbits would just chill there with me. Like, they wouldn't come up close, but they just hang out. They wouldn't run away. They'd be like, what up?
Yes.
It's like, all right.
Claudette says animals are sentient. They have sixth sense.
Could be. You never know.
They have instinct, I know.
Yeah. It's hard to say. You see all of the behaviors. And
Sarah says, I missed the joke. I don't know what joke I missed.
You miss all the jokes.
I wasn't looking at the chat room.
Was maybe she was thinking there was going to be a joke regarding the deer, like, and then in the next scene it showed like a couple of deer hanging by their hind legs, and he was dressing them.
Yeah.
And then he'd be by the barbecue.
I sometimes lapse into my Seinfeld voice. You remember the series Seinfeld? You ever watch it?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I do that. I'm like, he wasn't even wearing a shirt.
How can you even do that?
You don't do that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's about it. That's a great show too. I enjoyed it.
You know who's out and about nowadays after a while of being cancel cultured?
Oh,
Michael Richards. He wrote a memoir. The one that plays Kramer. I think that's his name.
Yeah, Kramer. Oh, I saw that he had written.
The one that's canceled for being a racist.
Yeah, he's out everywhere. He's been on the Today Show and this and that.
Yeah.
He basically was like, yeah, I canceled myself. No one canceled me. I canceled myself.
Well, it all comes around. Remember way, way back when Pee Wee Herman got canceled before we used the term canceled because he got caught performing autosexuality in an X-rated theater.
He went, ha ha.
And what's the word of the day, Cherry? So
that was pretty messed up that they were doing that in the theater.
He came back about a year or two later, and he said, "Heard any good jokes lately?"
Yeah,
I forgot where. I think it was at like the Emmys or something. He was at some show,
but he came back. Now he's dead. So.
Yeah,
he died a few years ago.
Last year, I think.
Awfully young.
Well, now these celebrities, they don't tell anybody they dying, and then they wait, and then they say, "Oh, they died of an illness or something." Somebody recently died of an illness. It was like cancer.
An illness, yes.
Norm Macdonald passed away last year.
Last year. Paul Rubens was an American actor and comedian widely known for creating and portraying the character Pee Wee Herman. Rubens joined the Los Angeles troupe The Groundlings in the 1970s and started his career as an improvisational comedian and stage actor. He was born in 1952, so he was only 8 years older than me.
Yeah, it is. He's the same. Well, he was at that point the same age as my dad.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, my dad was born in 1952.
And I like Pee Wee Herman. He
was in Up in Smoke.
Up in Smoke. He was in that?
Yeah. He played something.
I saw him play some bad guys in some movies where they cast him literally as a bad guy.
He was on CSI as a bad guy, if I remember right. CSI or NCIS, one of those shows. He played a villain.
Interesting.
Okay.
A drug dealer.
Yeah, and he did a good job, and he was pretty nasty, too. There was no comedic edge to that character at all.
Interesting.
So, I always thought if I was to cast a movie, I would cast comedians that we know to be chuckly as the heavies. And there was something I was thinking of once. When Uncle Dave and I were talking. We used to talk all the time about movies. This is 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
We were talking about that, and I said, yeah, I'd love to see, this is how long ago it was. I said, I would cast John Candy as my drug lord. And he could tell some jokes if he wanted to, but I would want him to play it nasty serious.
Picture Andy Kaufman as like playing a Dexter character. I guarantee
kind of character?
Like Dexter.
Oh, yeah.
You could see that.
Okay, here we go.
I'm going to cut off your head.
Here we go.
Yes.
Either Andy Griffith or Barney Fife as like the heavy serial killer, dark, crazy.
Barney Fife, the new Dexter.
Andy Griffith did play a serial killer in the movie.
He did?
Andy Griffith played some bad guys.
I can't remember some movie in the 80s. He did play a serial killer.
It was in the 70s, I think, because
maybe
it was one of those made-for-TV movies, and it was taking place in like a lodge up in the mountains somewhere in snow, and he was the killer, and he was nasty. So,
no, it was based on a real-life story.
I just saw some stuff on him. I think I watched it. I woke up in the middle of the night and the TV was playing, and I had it on YouTube, and it'll jump automatically to other shows. And somehow I got from watching the history of Hatshepsut to the history of Andy Griffith and Mayberry. And there was some segue in there somewhere that I missed. But they talked about him and that he was genuinely a nice person. Yeah. Everybody said he was a genuine person, that he was a notorious joke player with people. And
you can't visit Andy Griffith's grave because it's buried on family property.
Oh, that's too bad.
I forget where, but yeah, it's surrounded in the middle of the woods and nobody can get on it.
Randall Flagg said Leslie Nielsen did the opposite. Yeah, he went from serious to comedic. And that's all he was known for anymore was comedic. You know, the first time I saw Lloyd Bridges in the comedic role, I think it was an Airplane or something like that, or some movie with a submarine where he was an admiral or something.
Glue.
And
it was a bad day to stop drinking.
Yeah,
I picked a bad day to stop smoking cigarettes.
I remember him from, this is how old I am. Anybody remember Sea Hunt?
Oh yeah,
black and white television show in the 60s. Lloyd Bridges, an underwater nautical scuba guy. I don't remember what his position is. Probably a marine biologist or something, but always caught up in, mysteries and murders and stuff. But not even of the 70s. It was the 60s, so it was like, had that Mission Impossible feel to it.
Right.
Elderberry watched it. Sea Hunt.
Yeah.
And do you know that Lloyd Bridges was actually in the 60s when he was doing Sea Hunt, was asked to audition for the role of Captain Kirk?
Ha!
So,
Well, you know who else was
yeah,
considered for Captain Kirk was
Hawaii Five-0.
Hawaii Five-0.
Jack Lord.
Jack Lord. Yeah.
He
Book
was
'em,
considered.
you
There was
know.
somebody else. There were a
Beat
couple
me
of
up.
other guys.
Yeah, he wanted way too much, money and rights and all that stuff.
Yes.
You can only imagine with Jack Lord. Bones. That's way different acting than Shatner.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking here to see.
They could have had Jeffrey Hunter, but that was the same thing.
Jeffrey
Wanted more
Hunter
money.
was Pike.
Yeah.
Let's see.
In the pilot.
15 actors who were almost cast on Star Trek, the original series. Who we got? Jack Lord as Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
James Coburn as Captain Pike. Remember James Coburn?
That would have been an interesting one.
The Magnificent Seven and The Great Escape in those movies.
Oh yeah. Well,
Great actor.
West.
What's that?
Wild West.
Yes, Wild Wild West. No,
Or no. That wasn't
No.
James Coburn.
that was Robert Conrad.
Robert Conrad. Yeah. No. God. Yeah. James Coburn was in a whole bunch of stuff.
Now, this doesn't sound too far off, but Martin Landau for Spock. He was in Mission Impossible for years. He did Space 1999, if you remember that series. He also played, didn't he play a Deep Throat character? Not the Deep Throat in the X-Files, but another whistleblower behind the scenes. He was old when he did that.
I didn't watch X-Files back in the day. I watch it now,
love
but
the
not
X-Files.
then.
I had a buddy of mine would come over every Friday night, and my wife and he and I would sit and we'd order pizza every Friday night, and we'd watch the X-Files.
Was he the smoking man?
No, he wasn't the smoking man, but he was as clandestine as the smoking man, and the smoking man was a Canadian actor. That frankly, that he said, the funny thing is, he said, I don't smoke.
Right.
And it was pretty cool. So Martin Landau as Spock. They had James Hong as Sulu. Remember James Hong, Big Trouble in Little China? He's been Asian man in every movie that called for an Asian man.
He's the one who played Lopan.
Lopan.
Asian Kirk.
Yes.
Interesting.
No, he was Sulu. They were going to cast him as Sulu.
Oh.
And he is still alive, isn't he? I don't think he died, unless he just recently died.
Yeah, I think he's still alive.
He's like 100 years old or something now. Let's see. Dawn Wells, who was Mary Ann on Gilligan's Island. Hubba hubba. As Roberta Lincoln. Now, I don't know. Oh, Roberta Lincoln was the role that went to Terry Garr in the one episode, Assignment Earth, with the guy named, the character was Gary Seven.
Was that the one where they got
the
inducted by aliens and their eyes turned blue? They turned into super beings?
No, that's not her. No, that was Sally Kellerman in the original pilot for Star Trek with Kirk.
The one that played Hot Lips in the MASH movie.
No, let's see. Dawn Wells, Roberta Lincoln, Terry Garr. If you ever watched Young Frankenstein,
I know Terry Garr is.
So Terry Garr.
That was on the other night, Young Frankenstein.
Great movie, classic.
They did all the Mel Brooks movies on that Laugh channel.
Yeah.
It was last week they were doing them, and it was Mel Brooks tribute, even though he's still alive. And they were playing all the Mel. They played Blazing Saddles and then Young Frankenstein.
Ann Baxter was supposed to play Spock's mother. Again, another old screen star. Am I mixing her up? Wasn't Ann Baxter the one who played Nefertiti in Charlton Heston's The Ten Commandments. Played
Never saw it.
the Egyptian, the
It's
white
been entirely
Egyptian
too
girl.
long since I've seen that movie.
What's that?
I said it's been entirely too long since I've seen
Oh,
that
yeah.
movie, so I couldn't tell you.
She was hot too. Hot hubba hubba. Sorry, female listeners. I make no apologies.
Randall, all you got to do is type in Terry Garr, David Letterman shower scene.
Yep.
All you
Here.
got to do.
Yes.
Okay.
Terry Garr, David Letterman.
No,
Shower
David
scene.
Letterman was one because Terry Garr was a one of the. She was on his show hundreds of times, and
Yeah.
one time he was like, "Go take a shower. Go take a shower. Go get in the shower." And at the very end, she gets in the shower, and she's like, "I can't believe you're making me doing this." But you don't really see anything. But she sticks her head out for a brief second when they roll in the credits, just to block anything out, and she sort of jumps out the shower like at the last second.
Oh.
And they didn't block that out, but you can see where it says Johnny
there
Carson
she is. Yeah, I see her. There's a still of her in the towel.
Yeah, it's like at the very end of the show. I think they were doing a hotel. They went to a hotel or something, and he's like, "Come on, you promised," because she said she would do it. Come on, get in the shower.
But Terry Garr was It was fantastic fun in Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Let's see. What other actors do we have here? John Voight was asked to play. Remember the episode "Who Mourns for Adonis" about the Greek gods and Apollo? He was asked to play Apollo, and he turned it down. That's he's. If you don't know this, folks, John Voight, very conservative nowadays, was in The Deer Hunter and Midnight Cowboy. All those. He's Angelina Jolie's dad.
Yeah.
I follow him on Twitter.
Michael Dunn was asked to play Spock. Now, Michael Dunn would have been an interesting Spock because Michael Dunn is that very famous dwarf that you saw in all the movies in the 60s, movies and TV series. He was in the episode, which one was it? The one with the I'm trying to think of the one that also had the first interracial kiss, Plato's Stepchildren. He was
That's
the
when
dwarf
Kirk
in
and
that.
Uhura got it on and said, "Let's go."
Yeah. So he was also asked to be the alien in the Corbomite maneuver, which it ended up being Clint Howard, Ron Howard's brother. Rex Homan as Spock. He played a cowboy. He played, I think, Doc Holliday in the Star Trek episode Spectre of the Gun, where there was an alien that created that. Of course, Lloyd Bridges was in The Cage and Assignment Earth. He was asked twice. Patrick O'Neill in The Cage and Assignment Earth. He was up for the same roles as Bridges. Gloria Calomey as Uhura. She's a black woman. I don't know who she is. She was on Mannix. You remember Mannix?
Mannix comes on at 1 a.m. every morning on MTV because I watch it.
Let's see. Ina Hartman was asked to be Uhura. She was on Bonanza. Evidently not very long.
Bonanza comes on MTV too at like 1 o'clock. Lauren Green comes out and he says, "This is my show, bitches."
That's right. Mitty Lawrence is Uhura. She was in, I don't know who that is. She was in My Three Sons as she was
the one with the glasses.
Katie Miller Douglas delivered triplets as a nurse on My Three Sons. Okay.
Oh, that show was on forever.
John Drew Barrymore as Lazarus. He was a part of Acting Dynasty, the father to Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
Hired to play Lazarus in The Alternate Factor. And according to the Ultimate Trek resource, Memory Alpha, however, he failed to show up for the filming. And this led to the Screen Actors Guild suspending his membership for half the year, putting him briefly out of work. Oops.
He was drunk off his ass.
Probably.
Like,
Barrymore,
Star
huh?
Trek, I go to sleep tonight.
So who was the guy they got for that? It was a guy, he was in other TV series, who played Lazarus in that episode of The Alternative Factor. Let's see. Oh, that's it. That's all of them. So
there you go.
Those are all the ones that were asked to be Kirk or other characters on Star Trek. Pretty cool.
I read somewhere once, I don't know how true it is. I read somewhere where they asked Leonard Nimoy to try out for Kirk, and he didn't want to. He wanted the Spock character.
He wanted the Spock character. Spock's infinitely more interesting. I love Captain Kirk, and I love what Shatner did for the role. But Spock was I saw a little clip yesterday. Somebody sent me a clip. I get them all the time, every day. And I went to look at the clip, and then right next to it was the next clip was a Star Trek original series clip. Yeah. And it was from the episode The Naked Time. And it was where, you remember that episode where Spock and some other crewmen, they went down to the planet and everything's iced over. They're in these environmental suits. And the guy takes off his glove and feels something. You hear this like music, and his hand, he's going like this the rest of the episode, and it's some kind of virus they spread throughout the ship. And it was spread by touch. And this is where you first find Nurse Chapel as the hots for Spock. And she tells him she's in love with him, and she takes his hand, and his acting in that scene was incredible. You had Leonard Nimoy playing that, and he's taken over by whatever this disease was, this thing. Chevy Chase's Spock. Yeah, there you go.
Hey, Chevy Chase.
Flesh lives.
Oh, I'm still trying to find. There is a clip. Well, I have never been able to find it. The Chevy Chase show. There's clips on YouTube, but when he was doing that show, he was sort of doing like a jaywalking thing, like Jay Leno.
Yes.
Thing. And he interviewed my grandma at the time, and my grandma, you don't know, she's like Italian. She's kind of, she passed away about 10 years ago or so. She would talk. And at the end of he would do like a little, and at the end of the segment, you have Chevy Chase hanging like that. He's hanging from a rope.
Nice.
I've never been able to find it, but I have seen it before. So I'm still looking for that clip so I can go see there's proof of it.
Here we go. Here is yes, you are right. Susie Q. Ann Baxter she was in the 10 Commandments, and she played Nefertiti, who was in love with Moses while he was Prince Moses. And then, of course, he took on the slave thing, and she tried to entice him back, and he didn't want to have anything to do with it, and he turned her down, rejected her.
Wench.
And so she ends up marrying Yul Brynner, Ramses. You will be my wife, and you will do as I say, and
so she married Chris.
So it shall be written, so it shall be done. So this is hi. Not right now. What did Mom tell you to come and ask me for it? Here, come around here. I want you to know something.
Who's she?
That's Ann Baxter. That's my old girlfriend.
Shit.
That's how old I am. Here, hold on.
75.
Let me get back to close. Look at what she did to her hair today.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Is everybody coloring their hair over there?
That's what happens. The older one wants to color her hair, then she wants to follow suit. So
I can honestly say in 44 years, I have never touched this.
So mom said it was okay.
Then I'm gonna put pink in it.
Yeah, she's got more to do.
Well, that's what,
So she had to
golden?
bleach it so she could put color in it.
I'm not done bleaching it.
I can't
Not
see.
done-
Is it
but
gold?
she's not
or-
done. Oh no.
Is it gold or brown?
It's here. Step up a little bit.
I can't see. It looks like gold and
And
brown.
lean in so people can see your hair.
Or is it
It's been-
blonde?
Lean down a
It's
little
been
bit.
lightened
See,
significantly.
it's all blonde, but it's goldy blonde.
I kind of see some brown streaks too.
I have to finish down here.
Yes.
Ah,
So they're going to finish her hair tomorrow. By the way, here is Ann Baxter in the 10 Commandments.
Oh, yes.
Bada boom.
You couldn't pull her. You were a nerd.
What?
You couldn't pull her. You were
Pull
a nerd.
her?
Do you not know?
Is that the young people's terminology? You couldn't pull her. You're a nerd. I was a nerd in school.
what
Good
do the
Lord.
kids speak nowadays? I can't understand these kids anymore.
She'd have dug me.
Yeah, but you couldn't pull her.
Pull her. What do you mean?
Pull her.
You wouldn't have been able to get her to date you.
Yeah.
Pull her means I couldn't get her to date me. Well, no, she was worth a lot of money at that time. And
How does that
this picture
translate
of
to
her
that?
was taken probably 3 years before I was even born. So, what was the 10 Commandments in 56 or 57? So, I think it came out in 57. Yeah, Susie Q, she was beautiful, unless you're talking about Ellie. So, yeah, she was a hottie. I'd have dated her. Just saying, bye. I'd have dated her, but I fell in love with your mom instead. There, good save. Huh? So, all right. She got the same basic look as Rainey, though. So,
Back in the day, I'd hit that. That's what you got to say.
back in the day, I'd have hit that. She was in All About Eve as well. Yes, she was. Wasn't what was the one with Paul Newman's wife? What was her name? Something else with Eve. The Different Faces of Eve or something like that. She was a split personality.
Paul Newman's wife. You mean the salad dressing?
What? Yeah, the
salad
salad
dressing?
dressing. No, he wasn't married to it, but he and his wife started that company together.
I can't think of his wife's name.
I can't remember her name either.
Was it like Jeannie or something, maybe?
She was well known, but I can't think of what her name
I
was.
have no idea.
Paul Newman's wife.
And then Google says which
Joanne
one.
Woodward was her name.
Oh,
Joanne Woodward. And yeah, so
back in the day, yes.
Paul Newman died in 2008 already. He was born in 25.
Yeah.
She was born in. They were
His last
married
wish
from
was to be in the salad
1958
dressing.
to 2008 when he died. So they were married for 50 years. I loved it when he did the voice of the
Doc.
the airplane, the in Cars. He was the old
He was Doc Hudson.
Doc Hudson, that's right.
Oh, I never watched that movie.
And who did the voice? It must have been Planes. Who did the voice of the old Corsair?
I can't remember.
It was somebody
I
like
don't think
that.
I ever saw that one.
It was pretty good. Planes.
So the guy that played the sheriff,
Yes.
so he is actually he's not a professional voice actor. He's not an actor or anything like that.
Right.
He's a Route 66 historian.
Oh,
And I've met him at several events on several occasions with the roadies from Route 66 that I'd hang out with when I lived in Missouri before. He's a really cool guy.
by the way, it was Stacy Keach who played the old Corsair from World War II.
Stacy
Planes.
Keach.
Stacy Keach.
You know, Stacy Keach was in the Cheech and Chong movies as Lieutenant Sergeant
He's been in a lot
Sedenko.
of stuff. Is he still around?
He's still
He was
alive,
in
I
a
think.
series that I liked to watch when I was a kid. It may have only lasted one season. It was called Carib. He was a cop in the Caribbean islands somewhere.
Never heard of it.
Carib.
Although this channel, Get TV, that I watch, Great Entertainment Television, they play the Mike Hammers he was in the 80s.
Nice.
They play that at like
Mike,
5, 6 o'clock.
Mike Hammer, that's right.
It's like, I'm Mike Hammer. You're not.
All About Eve is what, yes, Susie says. And back to Cheech and Chong.
Hey, you know.
He turned
you
into
gotta-
a lizard. Yeah, there we go. How did we get on that? What were we talking about that we got there? Star Trek. I don't even know how we got into the Star Trek. Who was asked to play Kirk?
I don't remember.
So
I don't know.
One thing goes to another.
there was some.
I blame Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah's fault.
It's always her fault. She didn't come up with a serious topic, and we went off the path again.
Two other series. They were both Irwin Allen series. I believe wasn't Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea an Irwin Allen production?
Yes, it was.
Because it would always say in the beginning credits.
You could tell.
Dun, 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 dun,
He always
dun,
had voiceovers.
bloop, in the background of the sonar. Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. An Irwin Allen production. The voiceover would always say that. Or you had the FBI with Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. in the 60s. The FBI in color.
I think that was a Quinn Martin production, maybe.
Quinn Martin.
Quinn Martin did all the Barnaby Jones and then all the ones on the cannons and
Yes.
tonight's episode. Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
Was that a comment? Facebook Trekkie? Can we talk about the lack of social consciousness, if you like?
I have
Sarah,
no idea what that
you
means.
you want to switch us to a lack of social consciousness now?
Hookers and beer. That's the topic of
Is that
this.
what you want us to do right now?
God, hookers and beer.
No. Where's Professor Bauer so we can have three
That's
hours
only
beer.
slightly better than hookers and blow.
So who said, my favorite, fiberglass and beer?
That would be
Was it fiberglass and potato chips?
that would be Dan Aykroyd as
Yes. Ding,
Beldar.
ding, 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 ding.
Coneheads.
I brought up social consciousness. The lack of social
in
consciousness.
an alternate dimension, in an alternate live stream. Perhaps.
I thought, no, I was going to talk about, do animals have consciousness? Was the main topic for the night, but we never got to it. So we're not even going to touch it tonight. We'll touch it another night.
You got to get
late
back to the Friday
get
nights or
serious.
ghost nights.
The Friday night what?
I'm
Trudeau
so into
night?
Friday night is ghost night.
It is.
Remember?
We can do ghost night. We'll do animal
Back in the day.
another night. We'll do
Well,
ghost night.
I'm not telling you what to pick your topic. It's your show. But I remember back in the day when you say Friday
No,
night. or ghost
Sarah, I
night.
don't want to get serious.
We're not
The short
serious.
answer is yes.
If we want serious, we'll drag Rainey in here.
That's right. Rainey
Oh,
will get us
Lord.
serious.
And then she'll yell at Scotty again for no reason.
Oh, it's my life. She kind of loves me. So
Yes. Although I can say that because I can
told
throw the
me so
grenade
last
and you deal
month.
with the damage.
so
Phew.
Oh Lord.
yes. What are you into over there?
I wouldn't even try to tempt fate with bringing up stuff.
Oh no. Oh no.
I tempt fate all the time.
Right.
Yes.
Sarah's going to go to bed. She's going to abandon us because we're not going to get into a serious topic with 15 minutes left of the show. 13 minutes. Will you just go to bed, Sarah? See if we care.
See, I'm being good over here.
Which Sarah is it?
Sarah Yusuf.
There's only one Sarah that comes in here.
Well, doesn't Sarah Soderlund show up every once in a while or something?
Every once in a rare blue moon.
In a blue moon.
Sarah
haven't even
Soderlund,
seen her
if you're
lately
listening, you
anywhere.
should call in.
I still got to
Sarah
interview her one
Soderlund
of these
did
days.
plenty of tomfoolery with Rocky Stucci and I when we were doing radio.
Tomfoolery.
Tomfoolery. So,
Tomfoolery.
You know that's somebody's name out there, right?
I'm sure it is.
Thomas Foolery
Somebody
here. at
gave
your
that
service.
name its name.
I remember. I think it was
cow.
David Letterman that did funny names one time, and he brought someone up.
See you, Sarah.
And
Sorry you
his name
can't
was-
stick around. Sorry you
brought
couldn't
somebody on
call
his-
in
on
and
his
join
show.
us.
and his name was Dick Assman, and he
Oh,
showed his
God.
driver's license. And I'm like,
Wow.
that's a hell of a name. And I think he
That
was a
is.
plumber or something. But
Well, I have no intention of digging into a deep topic at this hour. So,
pray Professor Bauer's not hiding anywhere.
Oh, he
shh, don't
probably
say his
is.
name, and you won't invoke his presence to hold us
Is
up
that-
at the last 3 minutes.
Is that like Beetlejuice?
Yes,
Perhaps.
he's
You're just
probably
like-
listening.
Professor Bauer, Professor Bauer, Professor Bauer.
Here I am.
Don't say that 3 times like that. No, you say that 3 times in the dark, looking into the mirror.
I'm here to talk about nuclear
Professor Bauer.
power for the next
I believe in
27
Professor
minutes.
Bauer. I believe in Professor Bauer. I believe in Professor Bauer. Poof.
Maybe.
It's like scrying of a different kind.
I went, every time, and this hasn't happened recently, but I've been on a couple of his live streams, and every one of them gets shut down. Every one YouTube pulls. It's like community
Well,
guidelines,
yeah.
and I go, "What did you say this time?"
That's
Like,
why he
look,
comes
any-
on my show and does stuff to block my monetization.
No, but don't do it in the middle of his live streams. He's talking about something, and he was talking about his website one night. There goes the web. There goes, and I'm like, "You're gone."
Well,
Yep.
you see, it's all about the Ethereum and the Materium and the great reveal.
The thing
Uh,
with you. Yeah.
He's clearly on some sort of watch list.
Clearly.
Well, hey, remember the other night he said, "If you think people are watching you," and then he said something else about
They
this.
are.
And I don't remember.
So, yeah, I've had this little ongoing kind of back and forth thing with Scott Walter. And he did get back to me today. And I disagreed again with his premise. And I don't want to, I'm not talking behind his back. I'm just presenting what he said to me. I'm sure he would come on the show and talk about it. I gave that long response to him about why I thought Trump's conviction was
It's bullshit.
well, that's the vernacular.
Yeah.
I said it's a corruption of jurisprudence, and I gave all those bullet points, and I read them on the show here, and he just got back to me today and said, now that Hunter Biden has been found guilty on all counts, can Republicans now stop with the two-tiered justice bullshit? Trump was found guilty because he committed crimes. It's that simple, and I would hope we can do better than nominate a convicted felon.
Yeah, but I think all of the stuff with the crimes were actually misdemeanors, right? But they
Well, they
stacked up
started as
34 of them.
misdemeanors that had already run out their statute of
I'm
limitations.
pretty sure gun charges are more serious than so-called.
Well, I
payments.
said, and I maintain this point too, maybe we are getting serious in the last few minutes, is
Yeah.
that I think Trump should have come out. And I am among those who believe that the gun charges that Hunter Biden, he might be guilty of other things, but the gun charges, I don't see anywhere in the Constitution that says about the Second Amendment that the right to ownership should not be infringed. I don't see it saying in there unless you're taking illicit drugs or unless you're doing something illegal. It doesn't say that. It says
Well,
the
right.
to possess arms shall not be infringed. Now, you can get Hunter on a lot of other stuff, but I said, I think, I even told this to Scott in my response. I said, I think Trump and everyone on the right should speak out about Biden's conviction. Hunter is still a citizen with constitutionally protected rights. Even the Second Amendment, which has no prohibition for using drugs, shall not be infringed. The Hunter trial was as much a show trial as the Trump trial. This underscores my point here. Let me make this whole point. This underscores my point about the system of jurisprudence that's been severely compromised. In Trump's case, I believe he has been fraught with prosecutorial abuse. Let's revisit the nominating of a convicted felon issue after the appeal. All the left wanted was the conviction. They didn't care for what, when, where, or how. They just needed to be able to call Trump a convicted felon before the election. It's as plain as the nose on my face. As I said in my previous long post, I believe the felony conviction is a glaring example of a system of jurisprudence that has gone wrong. And then I challenged him. I said, you root out lots of weird historical shit every day for your show. I'd think you'd be able to see through this farce, especially with all of its mitigating details. I'd love to see you tackle this issue without bias for anything other than the facts. Meaning, I was challenging him. Look, you do this all the time. You're looking for Assyrians in ancient America. You're looking for, ancient Chinese ships in America, Vikings, and all the different cultures that came before we knew any of those in 5,000 years ago in America. And I said, so if you can uncover that stuff and all the people that tried to cover it up, you could do a bang-up job looking into the Trump trial and the Trump indictments. And you notice after he has now been convicted, maybe there'll be a change. I don't know. But as of right now, every other indictment is like on hold. It's like done. And you'll probably not hear about it again. So what about the 51 claiming laptop was Russian crap? Yeah, you're not seeing anything done about that.
No, because they'll say they got him on the guns, but wait till his daddy loses the election, and last day out he'll pardon him. He said he won't, but
there was something about, I heard somebody in the news comment today saying, Joe Biden promised he would not be pardoning his son. But you notice he didn't say anything about not commuting his sentence. I guess Jean-Pierre, what's her name? The White House press secretary. She said something was heard. She was off mic, but they picked her up. And she said something to somebody that supported that just today, that Biden might consider commuting the sentence. But so it's interesting.
Yeah, I'll be real interested in seeing how that turns out.
If
Gun was the only thing not
enough,
tied to Daddy.
Nothing's going to happen anyway. All they got to do is delay it until November.
Yeah. And by the way, Scott Walter, you are welcome to come on this show and we'll talk about it. So,
even though I don't know who he is, come on down.
America Unearthed. You ever watch that show?
Which channel is that on?
It was on History Channel. It was in its prime 2012, 13, 14, 15.
If it comes on Story Television, I'll watch it. Story Television is like, it shows all the old History Channel stuff from like,
I don't know,
99.
America Unearthed. You can see if it's on there.
Oh, I've probably watched that show. Just the name.
You can find it on YouTube. It's on YouTube. Look up.
Sounds familiar.
WOLTER and America Unearthed, and he also did the treasure of the Knights Templar, the secret treasure, the hidden treasure, or the lost treasure.
Oh,
of the Knights Templar.
I know you're talking about now.
Series.
I think I did watch that. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Randall Flagg, it didn't get renewed 1 year. And he tried a couple of years to get something else up and running. He did a couple of other mini shows that they had him do. By mini shows, I mean the 8-episode. You can look up and see all the shows that Scott Walter.
The History Channel's weird. They'll do a show that it'll be big for a year. You know, even the big shows don't last more than 2 or 3 years on that channel. They can be really big, and then all of a sudden they'll do like 50 episodes. Okay, that's enough. Let's pull it.
The Travel Channel revived the series America Unearthed for 10 more episodes, again hosted by Scott Walter, and it broadcast in 2019. And it was canceled just after one season. The show has been described as entertaining, but also has received criticism for promoting pseudo-history. Of course, you know, you're going to get all those people that say that crap about it. He's also written The Hooked X, which was his big thing, the Kensington Runestones, Oak Island and the Knights Templar, Akhenaten, to the founding of, I can't read it that small. He wrote the Cryptic Code, the Templar stuff, and the Lake Superior something. I'm not seeing the full title here. But he also did, let's see. He's got a podcast, I believe, on YouTube. Creative Society, is that it? No, Scott Walter talking about truths. He was talking about the Masonic, the Freemason history of America. There's a lot of stuff on Scott Walter if you want to look him up. So, good stuff. Always enjoyed his stuff.
I'll look him up tomorrow.
Yeah. Look him up on YouTube. You'll find some good stuff.
Oh, yeah. I'm always watching something on YouTube.
Yeah.
Mostly old sports games. Or whatever. If I'm watching George Carlin or something, I don't know. Whatever.
Right.
I don't know. Whatever I feel like watching.
I know he came to the Paradigm Symposium. We had some
George Carlin did? Wow.
No, Scott Walter. And we had some Mexicans there who had this collection.
Yeah,
Or was he a Mexican? It was a collection of artifacts from Mexico that were all carved with alien stuff on it and pretty intricate stuff. And now Scott, remember, is a forensic geologist. That's what his PhD is.
Yeah.
And he picked up some of that stuff, and he could tell right away. And he did this a lot in the show, where there were inscriptions, and people said, "Yeah, we have this piece, and it's got inscriptions, ancient ones." And he'd look at it, and he'd say, "Well," he says, I hate to burst the bubble on this." He says, "But," and he'd take out his loop, and he's looking at the inscriptions, and he go, the inscription on this is not old enough. It doesn't show the signs of age and wear. So it was carved into this stone.
This shit's from 1825.
Yeah, pretty much. And some of this alien stuff, I had one of the big stones from that. I bought one, an artifact about that big, kind of triangular, and it sat kind of funny. I don't know whatever happened to that, come to think of it now. That's odd. Because it's big and heavy. I don't know where that went. But it had the alien, looked like flying saucers and aliens and the big eyes and all of that. And I had a couple of pipes that were carved very smooth, and they were bored out. They were like small pipes, and they had these alien faces on them. Those disappeared over the years. But that one piece, that's interesting that's gone. I can't even think of where that would be. It'd be so heavy to be in a box. But yeah, there was that. And he saw that stuff, and he bought up the whole collection. Just one day, boom. And I don't know how much he paid, but if you added all that stuff up, he was probably paying $10,000 to $20,000 for that whole collection. And just bought it all and took it home. So, and he wanted to examine it all. And he said, if nothing else, he told me, if nothing else, he said, this stuff is amazing art. It's very unique. So that's cool. So, Anyway. So yeah, I'd like to have Scott come on and talk about this, what he thinks about this. Because he sounds to me, and I don't say this to insult him, he sounds like everybody else I hear talking about this stuff from the left. Well, Trump's obviously guilty. Well, why? Why is he obviously guilty?
Yeah.
Because
And then
if
it
they
would
think
be,
he's not
even if
guilty,
he isn't
something's
guilty
wrong.
of this crime, he's guilty of something. So it's good that they got him on this. They got Al Capone on bookkeeping and tax evasion. I said, you know what?
Yeah.
That's not the way our system of jurisprudence is supposed to work. They got him on tax evasion, but they never got him on murder. Yeah. So he had to pay his crime for tax evasion. But Trump, what'd you get him on? And once again, I'll say, you ask somebody what the crime is, that's just a regular person out there that's glad Trump got convicted. Ask him, well, what was the crime? It's so convoluted, nobody even really knows unless they look into it deeply and study it. Oh, well, it's because of this and this and that and that.
Nah, he got set up for the whole thing.
Yeah, it was. It was a setup.
He didn't even know.
No.
If
No, he
seriously,
didn't even know about it.
knowing how Trump is, he would have told her, like everyone else, he would have said, go F off. I'm not giving you a dime. Do what you need to do. You think he would have actually paid someone off? No way.
Yeah.
Not a
They say
chance.
he supposedly didn't pay off workers. And I heard him talk about that once. He says, those workers that claim I didn't pay them, he says, I don't pay anybody who does substandard work. And he said their work was substandard. And he says they didn't get paid for what they did. And he says, yeah, you bet your ass I didn't pay them. And that's like when somebody asked him, do you, yeah, but you're rich and you use all the loopholes in the taxes. And he says,
So did everybody else.
He says, damn straight I do. He was in a debate, one of the debates. And he says, absolutely, you're damn straight I do. He says, and so should everybody else. If the loophole's there, take it.
Yeah.
And so he says, it benefited my business. He says, who wouldn't? So, not me. I would pay that tax without using the loophole. Yeah, BS. Pull this leg.
Right.
Sure they would. And dogs can fly.
Yep. All right, guys. It's 11:05. And I wasn't going to wax serious at all since we went so far into the show and didn't get there. So,
Serialist.
yes, we'll be serious on Friday when we do a paranormal ghosty show. So,
I'll hold you to it.
yeah. See if I can get a guest. I think it'd be fun to have a guest on Friday. A ghosty guest.
A ghosty
You're a
guest.
ghost.
A ghosty guest. What's that? Oh, I thought you said something.
Who
So,
are you going to have as a ghosty guest?
I don't know. I've got a whole list of people I could get. I should start making some phone calls.
Hello,
Yeah.
get on the show.
Make
Come
a
on. Now.
list. Check it twice.
Don't disappoint people.
Going to find
what I will
out
tell them.
who's ghosty or nice. So, yes, I'll get somebody on. And if I don't, it'll be just me. And anybody who wants to call in. So, April Slaughter would be fun to get on. You all know April Slaughter?
She doesn't she do a lot of the skull
Yes.
artwork? Yeah.
She did skull artwork. She's written a bunch of books. I met her through Taps Para magazine when I became the editor-in-chief. She was working in their offices. So, or I actually knew her before I became editor-in-chief.
Yeah, I've followed
She was
her
with-
for a long time on Facebook.
Oh yeah, she's an amazing person. So she is. I just talked to her. I just had a long phone conversation with her a couple of weeks ago now. Just catching up. Hadn't
Yeah.
talked to her in a couple of years. So that was good. Sarah Soderlund would be a good one to get on. But yeah, I'll check some things. I'll rattle some chains and see. Jason Hawes from Ghost Hunters had agreed to come on the show, and then he couldn't. He just dropped out away from me. He goes, "Sure, man." And that was a couple of years ago, but then they started doing, that's right when they started relaunching Ghost Nation or Ghost Hunters again, and he took it over. So
Yeah.
So yeah, he just wasn't available. So, but
Right.
So there you go. I'll see who I can get.
That'd be cool.
We'll see what happens. All right, guys.
All right.
Fieldy, have a good night. First one
Thanks,
in,
everyone.
first one out.
I will see you later.
Have a good night, brother. Jason, I just like keeping you on till the end. Good to have
Fair
you,
enough.
brother.
Always
And,
a pleasure.
I will talk to you again on Friday, I'm sure.
More than likely.
Have a good night. All right, everybody else, thank you for being here. Thanks for being part of my life, part of the show. We're going to get out of here. We're going to bug out. And I appreciate all that you do. And we'll see you next time. Live long and prosper. Thank you, Roger Rabbit. Good night.